Have you ever had a neighbor who does things a little differently? Maybe they paint their mailbox neon green, or they mow their lawn at dusk. It is a familiar, comfortable kind of neighborhood gossip. In our story, that neighbor is Mrs. Jones, and Mrs. Jones has a very peculiar garden. Instead of vibrant flower beds or neat rows of hedges, her yard is almost entirely covered in stones. Poet Reginald Arkell captured this exact neighborhood dynamic in a short piece called Concrete Example. It reads like a chat over a backyard fence, poking gentle fun at a local eccentric. Arkell turns this neighborhood story into a study of how we measure value and beauty in our daily lives. The poem begins by laying out the odd geography of the yard. The narrator lists off a crazy path, a lily pond, a rockery, and a sundial with a strange device. If you read those lines out loud, you immediately hear a bounce to the words. It feels playful and breezy. The poet is intentionally setting a comedic, unserious tone right out of the gate. This diagram shows the engine behind that rhythm, an AABB rhyme scheme. The words Jones and Stones form our A group. Pond and beyond form our B group. Connecting arcs lock the words into a strict sequence, creating the feel of a nursery rhyme. Arkell uses this simplistic rhythm on purpose. He lulls us into a false sense of security, getting us to tap our toes so we are completely unprepared for the twist he is about to spring on us. Tucked into this landscape of heavy, mundane rocks, Mrs. Jones has planted her garden, but the plants are incredibly delicate and small, sprouting up from the dark cracks between the massive gray stones. Our narrator looks at these tiny green sprouts and is completely baffled. To his eyes, they are so microscopic that they lack any real purpose. They do not look like proper garden plants at all. He is so puzzled by their size that he says, "I can't think how she gets them in, unless she plants them with a pin." When the narrator mentions using a pin, he's using a technique called hyperbole. He's reaching for the most extreme comparison possible, a tiny sewing tool, to show us how small and insignificant these plants look from his perspective. That exaggerated thought exposes the narrator's blind spot. He literally cannot comprehend a perspective or a scale that is different from his own. To him, big things mean valuable, and small means worthless. The tension builds when the neighborly dynamic shifts. Mrs. Jones formally invites the narrator over the fence and down into the stone garden for a proper tour. They stand among the rocks and talk about a specific flower for a full 15 minutes. Spending quite a quarter of an hour discussing a single plant you haven't even seen yet is an absurdly long time. You can imagine the narrator eagerly scanning the yard. He is listening to her praise this magnificent bloom, so he is searching the horizon for a massive traditional flower, a towering sunflower, or a giant blooming rose. This drawn-out miscommunication creates a wonderful comedic tension. We realize that these two people are standing in the exact same yard, speaking the exact same language, but they are operating with completely different definitions of beauty. Finally, the narrator's patience runs out. He gives up scanning the yard and cries out, "Where is this lovely thing?" Mrs. Jones looks down at the ground and replies, "You're standing on it." This is the moment the story hits a sharp point of irony. There is a painful clash between what the narrator wanted, to find and praise the beautiful flower, and what he actually did, which was destroy it under his own boot. The entire neighborhood joke lands on this single painful reversal. The harder the narrator looked for something big enough to admire, the more thoroughly he destroyed the small things that were actually there. It is easy to laugh at the clumsy narrator, but his mistake is a very human one. Like him, we often tune our eyes to look for the big things, the towering moments of success, or the obvious loud bursts of beauty. When we focus only on the horizon, we become functionally blind to everything else. Arkell's poem offers a quiet warning. If we only move at a pace that lets us see the mountains, we end up literally and metaphorically crushing the delicate, valuable things right under our feet. The next time you find yourself searching for something spectacular, take a breath, change your perspective, step carefully, and remember to look down. You might be surprised by the tiny, unexpected beauties hiding in your own neighborhood.